Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Mannino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hi, everybody. It's Michael Mannino, and welcome to Driven Unscripted Success podcast. Today on the podcast, we're interviewing professionals who share their experience with you, the audience, on how they got to where they're at today. And we have a Margaret Rothe. Where are you located at?
I am in Silicon Valley, California, where
all
of the entrepreneurs are, right?
And she'll explain what she does, but she works for Counsel Moore, and what they do is they help people from any school going to college.
Yes, any school. So we are the premier education software for the B2B educational service industry. So most of our customers are college counselors who serve in private capacity, serving families, and they use our software to gain access to the most up-to-date admissions data, but also college readiness planning. What is it that I need to get ready for my college applications? But also if you were a graduate student returning out of making a career change, there are educational consultants for really every crossroads of your journey.
Right. So I was under the impression that the students can use the software. So this is just for high school counselors?
Yes, so students do use the software, but they use a college counselor. So a college counselor would then meet with the student, would help them to draft their application. The college application, it's the permanent record. So there's a lot of revisions that happen before you get to the actual application. So the student is in the portal and working autonomously, but there is also the counselor with them that is pushing forward a curriculum, and then also relying on admissions data, because you don't want to apply to a school where your profile just isn't a match. That's time and money not well spent.
Oh, agreed. And so when I went to school, I took general ed for a period of time, and I couldn't pick a major because at 18 or 19, they said, "What do you want to do the rest of your life?" And that terrified me so much that I actually dropped out because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. Help me understand that concept. What do you do for students that were like me? I guarantee you started this well after I was in school.
So if you don't know what your major is going to be, then
Correct.
You are going to, I'm trying to get my view so I can actually see you. There we go. So if you don't know what your major is going to be, then I would ask you a lot of questions about what do you want your life to look like, sound like, feel like into the future. And I would try to find in our conversation things that you do every day that you do enjoy, and that we lean into whatever that is. I mean, I have a student who likes to walk home the long way because she knows that there's a feral cat colony, and she will just go and hang out by the feral cat colony and just watch those cats for a little while because it's fun. And then it was a question about, well, why is it fun? And what have you learned? And just leaning into that. And then we came to see that there was other things that she questioned, that interactions among people. And she was actually using the cats as a way to examine those other situations in a thoughtful way by herself, but she just wasn't aware that those things were happening for her. But through conversation, we saw that. Now, that doesn't mean that, okay, her major is now cats or something like that, but it does.
Oh, a veterinarian, that'd be a perfect vet.
I mean, but that's the thing, right? You just said vet because our natural inclination is to think in terms of occupation. And
Correct.
Really, when I'm leaving high school to go on to college, it's not for the purpose of an occupation. And many people believe that, and in some cases it is. So everything that you say in educational services, I must warn you that there's a caveat to every single one. But let's talk in broad strokes for the moment. In broad strokes, I can then say, I would like to, so for this young woman as my example, I would then say, you don't have a major just yet, but when we get closer to it, let's look at ologies. right? Anthropology, psychology, sociology, those types of things that then frame her thinking. Now, if she graduates with a sociology major, does that preclude her from any master's program? Does that preclude her from any job that she could go and get? No, because it's really not going to be about what she majored in. It's going to be about what she did at college. What transferable skill set and what work experience is she bringing to the table, which makes me want to hire her as an intern or an entry level and so on. Right? I want to see that perseverance. I want to see, oh, you took these extra credits, you have this minor that brought you to this apprenticeship, you have this letter. Those are the things that are truly going to get you hired. Not that I have a degree in sociology, so now you're going to make me a sociologist. That's probably
Sociologist. What is a sociologist?
actually sociologists work in a lot of marketing, and they do a lot around digital marketing right now.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, because
I didn't know what a sociologist did. I mean, I've heard of the degree. A friend of mine has one, and no, he doesn't have. He's got a degree in political science,
huh, yeah,
and he's not in the field. He's in construction, which was kind of. But we I just love talking to him about. I hate to say this when he's wrong about politics, when he thinks someone's going to win and they don't win. But everybody, I get it. Everybody has an opinion, and there's always wild cards. Can't blame him for that. But it was just fun. A good friend of mine.
right. Well, then here's another example. So if I go to school for poli-sci and I graduate with a poli-sci major, I might actually go into marketing, right?
Right.
Poli-sci is really about messaging and where has propaganda been most influential and when?
Hmm.
And has that been tied to other things? Because it's not just propaganda all by itself that would make a movement. It would have to be that plus something else, right? So it's not an occupation. It is for the
Gotcha.
discovery of self, truly, and that you're choosing which of the giant buffet of education you would like to indulge in.
Gotcha.
I don't think that we should charge for undergraduate education. I absolutely think that undergraduate education should be free with some levers in there that puts the student's skin in the game. But I think
Agreed.
higher education and that incubator of self is a incredibly important part of being a responsible young adult. I think that many people don't have to go to college and they find their way just fine. But for
Yep.
the ones who don't go to college, I have met many of them who have said, I feel like I missed something.
Really? After going to college?
No, after when they have chosen not to go to college, they went directly to work. So I'm in Silicon Valley. I meet lots of students who are like, hey, I was a junior in high school and I wrote this app, so Google gave me a job. And now I've been at Google for
Okay.
50 years. I have a ridiculous amount of money that I never thought I'd have. And it's not really a ridiculous amount of money because I'm old, so I can see what money actually gets you. And it looks like a lot right now because you're 20, right? It looks like
Right. Right.
a lot,
Right.
but it's not a whole lot. So when we can take that picture for them and then just pull it out another 10 years, well, then that person says, well, I feel like I missed something. I want to go back.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And they generally do.
They are doing, actually, this particular student is doing something with education, but is not a traditional undergraduate student, right? Because it's hard to shoehorn yourself into your past.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one. Hard to shoehorn yourself into your past. That's a good one. You got some great things, young lady. You really do. Yeah, that's a cool one. And my daughter taught me. I was thinking, I'm 6 years old today, right now at the current episode, and she told me about a couple of communication classes that I wanted to take. I mean, just taking some class. You can take some classes at college.
Yes, yes. And did you know that many community colleges have free courses?
Really? I didn't know they're free. That's
Yes.
a good price.
Here's another great tip. So if you live near a prestigious university and you drive by that school all the time and you're like, yeah, I wonder what goes on in those halls. Did you know that you could go and audit a class?
No, well, you called it an audit. I heard you can go check out a class. There's been some teachers online that videotape their lectures and put them out there. Jordan Peterson is one of them.
Yes.
One of the greatest educators I've ever seen in my life. He knows more about psychology. In psychology is one of the studies. if I wasn't in building and construction and multifamily, I would love to be in psychology. And his lectures brought him to a multi-million dollar status.
Yes, his objectivity and honesty, I think, brought him there. He's
But
very,
very
clear.
But then the videotaping and putting it out there is what got him. Like, and then he did a debate, and not a debate. He was in Canada, and he didn't like the law that was put out that you could get jailed for speech, and so he was fighting it. And then a couple students came up to him and had a debate, and that debate got him stardom. So it was just amazing to see what an educational process can leapfrog you into.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? They were in school they were in a school doing a protest or a debate or something like that, and it catapulted him. And he, like you said, he's a brilliant man.
Right. I think also that notoriety didn't take off overnight, right?
Yes.
It was a
Right.
snowball. It was someone had captured this moment in time, and then it just to resonate with each new audience.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm a teacher too, but I teach martial arts, the physical aspects of life, and it's mental too, don't get me wrong. But it's just amazing to see what a teacher can do to a student.
What field of martial arts?
I'm a 5th degree black belt in Muay Thai and Tang Soo Do.
Oh my goodness. Jeez. So you've been doing this a long time.
I've been doing this a long time.
Yes.
I have a master's degree in martial arts, and that's it.
But mind and body discipline. My husband studies Wing Chun.
Oh, awesome. Kung Fu.
Yeah, and he's been doing it for the past few years. He has not. But it has been not just for physical training. It was the mental training that it gave him the fortitude to get through some crises in his life. It was an incredibly important teaching for him.
Since we're talking about education, I can talk about, I don't talk about many things on the podcast, but I can talk about martial arts. Martial arts is one of the only things you can do to offset the onset of Alzheimer's, because it's a physical and mental exercise.
Real.
Yeah, martial arts has changed my life, and I don't think of fear the same way everybody else does. I've actually competed in the U.S. Open in breaking, and it's kind of fun to compete with world champions. And it's a different, how do I put, mindset. When they're all teachers too. When you're a black belt, you're a teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
Always.
So if you're a black belt, you're a teacher. If you're a student until you're a black belt, then you're a teacher. It's just how this works.
Always.
And to talk to a bunch of teachers and their students, and we have this philosophy, and I keep saying this a million times, you probably can word this a lot better than me, but if I can pull can't out of any one of my students, it'll change the trajectory of their life.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yes.
You're right. You said, see, you're right. You're right, right? I can do this, right? What has to change between you saying you can't and you can? You saying it.
Yeah, just change your words are.
But for the students terrified, that's hard.
I have sat with students who can't get the words to say I can.
Really? That's a fear on a different level.
It's a why do you want me to say it? Why do you want me to say it? Why do you want, just like this?
Because it changes the trajectory of your life.
Yeah, and I will say,
because it changes the trajectory of your life. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, what's the harm of saying it?
What's the harm of saying it? No, that's a good one. See, you got me again. What's the harm of saying it?
I had sometimes I meet students who are absolutely exceptional. I mean, storybook exceptional. Young Sheldon exceptional.
Really?
Yes, but less annoying. And I love them. I just love them because they have such an incredible opportunity in front of them. Like, you're young and brilliant. And some of them are young, brilliant, and gorgeous. Like, you just know that this wonderful,
we got a triple threat, great
woman with legs to her shoulders is just going to go out there and conquer the world. I'm so excited for them. But I have had students where I've had to tell them what's going to happen when you go to college and you're not the smartest guy in the room anymore.
Ooh, that's got to be a tough conversation.
Right. So I think that I can't comes up, but I also think that there's also the hubris of youth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to take that away. I don't want to pop the bubble, because I think that when you are fearless, you are capable of starting lots of companies and watching them fail and starting another one, right? Because that's what it is. Reinvent, make it happen.
Reinvent. We talked a little bit about that after before the podcast, and you said school. Please repeat what you said about school teaches you how to reinvent yourself. I'm saying that incorrectly, and I.
Yeah, I think that it's about acquiring, that higher education is about acquiring a transferable skill set, not gaining a certificate so that you can go get an occupation.
But that's what most kids think nowadays.
Well, of course. I mean, you're talking about a time in our life when, you're told when to wake up, when to get to class, when to do this, when to do that. What do I need to do to appease you, mom and dad? What do I need to do to appease you, teacher, principal, dentist, everybody? As a teenager, you're just, how do I keep myself out of trouble? Like you're constantly being nitpicked and critiqued all day long. Being a teenager is incredibly hard. You're like, look, I was just trying to pick out what my clothes were today, and now everything is wrong. Everything that I've done on my way to school, I've had a critique about. It's very difficult to be a teenager. And then also there is university, which, your parents are like, so you'll be going to Harvard? You're like, okay, let's just reframe
Dial that down.
expectations
I'm
here.
not going to get into Harvard, so let's think of where I can get in, and we'll have that conversation.
Right. And
Do you
it's
do
even,
you, do you deal with parents too that are how do I put this, overzealous of what the abilities are?
yes.
Smile on your face. I can't wait to hear the answer to this one.
Yeah, so I split my time. I train new incoming college counselors on how to build their companies and to deliver educational services and college readiness. And then the other half of my time, I'm working directly with students and families. And most of the time, families believe that where the student has been accepted to college is a letter grade on their child rearing. Where did Johnny get into college? We'll tell the other parent whether or not you're a decent parent. I think
Right.
lots of us will do that. Has
Do
absolutely
you think the parents take the monogram of how, like, my son's super successful? I can't take credit for his success,
oh
and I also can't take credit for his failures.
yeah.
Right?
Well,
But you're seeing some parents, like, where you go to school is it reflects on them.
it reflects on them because as a parent, we do everything that we possibly can for our children. If there's not enough money, a parent will make dinner and not eat, right? They will
Right.
feed their child before they feed themselves. And they
Hmm.
will never make a mention of it, and the kid will never know about it, right?
Hmm.
So now, after that parent has done great sacrifices, big and small, so did I do a good job? Did I get you where you needed to go? I just want what's best for you. So did I do right by you? When parents are yelling at their students about how they cut school or whatever the thing is, they're not yelling at them because the kid is bad. They're yelling at themselves because they're like, what have I not done? How did I get this wrong? I love you so much. There is nothing more important in my life. And yet, I haven't done enough because you are steered in some other direction at the moment. So it's my fault. Every parent feels that. I don't care whether they admit it or not. I think we all feel it. We feel like I could have done more. I should have done more. What did I not do? And I didn't know. So, yes, I think by accident, we do get those letters of acceptance after the whole process is done. And parents will look at that as a letter grade on their own child rearing. I used to call it the neighbor sniff test because I would see some.
Letter grade of their child rearing. I like that better. And that might be the name of the podcast. The letter grade of their child rearing.
Yeah, it's true. And I have parents who will approve of their student applying for a school that is they don't match the profile on, but they want to because they just, well, we want to see. We just want to see what would happen if we did. Well, what's that about? So the kid can get a rejection letter? Let's not do that. Let's not do that. That's not what
Let's not do that. I like what you said. Let's not do that.
let's not do that. And that's not what we were preparing for, right? That's not what we were
Hmm.
preparing for. We were preparing for something completely different. So in California, we have this incredible community college system. Also in New York, you have an incredible community college system. So students there's actually a county in California where students can go to community college for free.
Yeah, I like that.
And then they can transfer.
The first 2 years should be free. We had this conversation a little bit earlier.
Yes, it should absolutely be. That it's general education, it's like finishing school, it's like a 13th year. It is a very important time where, maybe you're living at home, but now you're paying for your own bills, you're paying for your own car insurance, maybe you pay rent to your mom. My dad, when I moved back home, he gave me a rent bill. Yeah.
Well, I kind of did that too when my kids, I said, if you're not going to school, you're going to be paying rent. And neither of them paid rent. So they went to school and moved out. So that was the objective. And sometimes as a parent, I didn't want to do that, but I had to make that rule so that it'd keep them motivated.
Well, let me offer an alternative to that because many times money
Now,
tight. And for the parents who are listening, that
okay.
especially when you're a CEO parent, when
Mhm.
you're an entrepreneur parent, you are working 99% of your waking hours. Your children have heard one word from you more than any other word they've ever heard from you. And that word is wait. Just wait.
Mhm.
Wait. Yeah, I'll be with you in a minute, Junior. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. If you are an entrepreneur, so here's another alternative for my fellow entrepreneurs out there. The money is tight and the student is probably going to live at home, but you can turn hours into money. So if the student is working such and such hours, you can say that equates to this many dollars, which pays your rent.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So that way I'm
That's a good trade-off.
yeah. Also, lots of parents call me and say, she was accepted to UC Davis, but now she's decided she doesn't want to go to college at all. And I will say, okay, great, that's fine. Now we just need to work out the schedule for next year. Because the real statement that parent was making was, I don't know what she's going to do next year. I don't know what my next year is going to look like. Right? So
Ooh.
it's just a matter of us reinventing. That's what it is. It's just a matter of a transferable skill set so that you can continue to reinvent yourself throughout your life.
That's what you said. It's conveyable skill set to reinvent yourself for the rest of your life. Because if you know how to reinvent yourself, you can't fear anything in this world because you can just do something else.
No, just
But
don't fear
some
anything. Just if you feel fear, get rid of it. Just name it. Just name it, point at it, and say, get out of here. Because that's
what
the only way to conquer fear.
what do you think fear is?
It's just an unknown.
I like that.
It's just an
I
unknown, and we have to learn how to self-soothe through and reinvent.
right.
Because
I like to teach people what the definition of fear actually is.
hmm,
Is fear is a figment of your imagination. It doesn't exist in the physical world. It only exists in the 4 inches between your ears, 6 inches between your ears.
I love it.
And you have to create it. That's the kicker. It doesn't exist in the physical world. This table, this chair, the floor, nothing has fear. You
Right.
have to create it. So don't create it. And then that changes their minds. Hopefully that changes their mindsets.
Yes. Oh my God, that's amazing.
And what the biggest problem, I don't think I've done this in podcast. The biggest problem is people confuse fear with danger. And the worry comes, that's where the worry comes in. If I'm standing at the edge of a cliff, fear doesn't exist in the physical world. So it has no bearing with me standing at the edge of a cliff. I could fall off the cliff and die. That's danger. That's prevalent in the world. But people combine fear and danger together. Just be aware of danger and understand what fear is.
Yeah.
And don't combine the two. You understand when they combine the two. How many times have you had a student that didn't live up to his full potential because he was afraid? He or she was afraid.
Yeah.
So if they didn't have the fear and just understand the danger, and we just work it out.
I could not agree more. I could not, and that is wonderful. And I'm going to have to think deeply about that later in meditation because I think that's wonderful.
It took me decades to learn that, because when you come, I got to fight my students. Some students are 12 years old, right? I'm 100 and 200 pounds and a fifth degree black belt. They're going to be terrified to fight me.
Right. Yes.
Right. It's understandable. Right. And I say, there's no danger here. I'm not going to hurt you. The fear you feel, you have to understand, is not real. Learn to get through it. And then the physical part of it really helps out, because if someone's trying to punch you, you better move.
But it's not, that is an approval thing, because I think a lot of fear comes from the fear of being judged.
Yeah, that too. It's all a figment of your imagination.
Oh,
It's all being judged. Okay, if you're being judged, we judge in martial arts all the time. When there's a fight and someone gets a point, he got a point. They got a point. So you're judged all the time. It's okay to be judged.
I know, but it's that self-judgment. After all that I have done, did I do a good job? Did I get you where you needed to go?
You did the best you could with what you had.
Okay, I did the
right?
best. And so I
You
will
did the best you could with what you had.
But if my student were wearing a Harvard sweater, I would sure feel better about the job I did.
Why?
I don't know. Because of the way that others will judge me, not how I will judge myself.
Wow, you care about what other people think of you?
Yeah, I think that we're hitting on it. I think that we're hitting on it.
I don't care what people think of me. I care what God thinks of me, and that's it.
Right.
That's where you have to get to the mindset, the martial arts mindset. Your husband, I'm sure you've had these conversations with your husband. If he's
no, we try never to speak. No, just kidding. We've been married for almost 30 years, so
congratulations. Yeah, if he's in it too, it's just a martial arts mindset. I have to write a book on this. I really do. That's the one thing I have to do in this world before I go.
So now, if I were to say to a parent that you would sure feel better if they were wearing that Harvard sweater, what do you care? Why would you care? Oh, I care about what other people think. Then that parent would then say, well, no, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I've done what I need to do. And that's sort of the intellectual
aspect.
Like we can talk ourselves out of it and say, no, of course I don't care. Like, why would I care?
But they do.
Emotion
they
was
say
there.
They don't, but they do.
So it still hit your gut. You still had that moment, but now you've just buried that obvious gut check, right? That you felt because you were like, so where did you get in, right? So you have acknowledged that gut check, but at the same time you've dismissed it. So
it's not so. God, I hate doing this to martial arts. When someone hits you,
yeah,
you're supposed to go with the hit, and it'll hurt less.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm trying to illustrate now?
I do.
So if I hit there and stay there, and you hit me as hard as you can, it's going to hurt. But if I go with the hit, it's not going to hurt as much.
You're right.
So my son got into community college.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
The other person, have you seen this?
Oh my God, we're on to something.
I know, right? This is a great podcast. You're all welcome. So
go with the hit. You're right.
Roll with the hits, and it'll hurt less, right? If you stand there and take the full bunt, it's going to hurt. But if you roll with it, it's going to hurt a lot less. And my biggest thing is, I don't care about what people think. I really don't. And I wish I always tell people, they always try to get me to care about what other people think. And someone said to me, don't you care? Don't you care? And I'm like, no. I go, wait, let me try. I can't do it. Sorry, I just can't do it. I tried.
I care. I want to know. In running a company, I'm always trying to check in to see what our customers care about, what they want, what's driving their choices of choosing schools for one student over choosing another school. So those things, I always care about that. And from a
user, care about your people that work with you.
Yeah.
Right? You care about the students. You care about all of that.
And I think I also care deeply about people's opinions of me. And I do take them, embrace them, but and I will be thoughtful about them, because I think I do believe that if you said it, there's probably some thread of truth. So, let me just do a little
Let
self-examination.
me dig.
Yeah, but if I don't agree with you, it's gone.
Good. Well, that you're halfway there.
Yeah.
So if you care what people think of you, your happiness is in their hands.
Right. Yes. Right.
I'm the happiest dude on the planet because I don't care what people think of me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I care about my business and I care about the people that work with me. I care deeply about them, but I don't care what they think of me. I do the right thing to make their lives better and our life, to make everybody's life better.
Yes.
But if you give somebody else the power of you caring about what they think, they have the power now. And you had to give it to them, which is the hard part.
She's like, look at AI right now. Everyone is, oh, well, let me use AI. Okay, so just hand over your job so you can be unemployed tomorrow. Go ahead, keep using AI. I think it's great as a magic box. It's great for efficiency. I can certainly get a lot of productivity done, but
Yeah.
as soon as I start inputting my real processes in my company and my business, then I am owned. Do you know, here's another thing that I thought about the other day. If something's free, you're the product.
Yeah, yes. Yes.
Yeah, there is no free lunch. And
No.
AI didn't suddenly make lunch free.
No. The AI is a tool right now. It just helps us. I don't think it can take over anything at this point. It can help us get more done. Take, Taking a job, I think that's very difficult. Maybe software engineers, but that's about it. I mean, it
Mm,
can write code now, and that's the greatest thing it's done. It can have a conversation. Let's talk about this. I heard the fact that 40% that comes out of ChatGPT is a lie. I was blown away, and I challenged it. I was asking a simple question on real estate.
yeah.
Days on market is how long a product, a house, a multifamily, whatever, it's been on the market. I said, "What's the days on market here?" And it spat out a number, 36. And I was like, "That's not true. How many times have a house has been taken off the market and put back on so it resets the days on market?" Oh yeah, that's called this, and it's more. So the actual is 70 to 120. And I was like, "But you told me 36."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. I was like, okay, that's not a
Yeah.
useful tool at this point.
I think an examination of facts is one thing, but the nuance that experience brings, the
Yeah.
lens
Oh yeah.
that experience brings, because, on and off the market is a huge impact for a piece of property's value,
And
right?
the houses around it and the
Yeah.
buildings around it. Exactly.
So I work with new educational consultants all the time, and they will come in with new data trends, like a data point that they think is the holy grail. And
Hmm.
they will say, oh, I need to know the percentage of out-of-state students.
Right.
Well, if it's a public state school, they're obligated to educate the students in the state, so that's number's going to be higher.
Right.
Just like,
And it's cheaper, isn't it?
well, yeah, because you are a state resident and they're
Okay.
likely a land grant institution. They have an obligation to
The
educate the
students in the state.
workforce of the state, the workforce of the state. That is why their majors
Gotcha.
aren't, you know, woo-woo
Out of
majors.
state tuition and
They're
in state tuition are generally a big difference. I haven't been to school in 40 years.
Yes. Yes. So if you're an agricultural state, then you have an amazing agricultural college, right?
Gotcha. Yeah. I heard California is one of the biggest states for agriculture.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we have a vintner's degree. So if you wanted to make wine,
Yeah.
we have several incredible degrees where you are being brought up from trimming the grapevines all the way to
Selling the
shows
wine.
in Paris, where you're hosting the wine and, running for the competitions. It's incredible. But if you go to Nebraska, do you know that Nebraska has an incredible medical program?
No, I thought it was beef.
Yeah, no one would know that. You'd think probably Baylor. Everybody
Yeah.
would go there for med, right? But there is so much happening in each individual state because the state has an obligation to educate its taxpayer for its state workforce. So if your state does anything, if your state has a commodity, then it has a education tool to educate the next generation of bringing that commodity to market. and there's your free college. And you don't have to then go get a job in that particular workforce if you want. You can just get your BA and move on to whatever the heck you want to do next, or BS, whatever.
That's a very interesting concept because you just showed me something. I lived in Michigan for 57 years. Michigan's the auto capital of the United States.
Yeah.
We had General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, and we know cars. We know cars inside and out. MIT, all the higher education. Actually, General Motors had its own school, and it was called GM something else. Now it's called Kettering. And I think that is one of the best educations you could possibly get in engineering. You've heard it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's 3 months of study, 3 months of work, 3 months of study, 3 months of work. 98% of the kids that go through that program have a job before they left. They don't even have to apply.
Yes, many of those students are headhunted by.
Headhunted even, yeah.
Yes, there is a company in Germany who that company is saying,
Wow.
back off and stop taking our trained students.
It's a great college. It's one. If another one, I would be in robotics or automotive. I would have went to Kettering. It was the GM school for a period of time, and they kick out the students that come out of there have a level of skill set, not education, skill set that most students don't have, because half of their education was actual practical application. I thought that was phenomenal. You know, when most students get out of school, they're like, "Oh, I got to go find an intern or start over and reinvent yourself," like you said.
Yeah. I had a student who was accepted to a private school in another state with a larger price tag, or he could go to Arizona State Technical. And being from Silicon Valley, lots of his friends were like, Arizona State Technical, blah, what's that? You know, and his dad was quite successful. His dad was a builder extraordinaire, and what a wonderful guy. And his mom was a real estate agent, and she was just magnificent. Really a wonderful family. And their student was exceptional, very talented, very sensible guy. And the student, when I first met him, I said, you know, so what do you do with your spare time? Tell me about yourself. He said, do you want to see what I do? And then more than one student has done this to me, actually. So, do you want to come out to the garage? Yeah, let's go to the garage. So we go out to the garage. I go to the garage. I see the
You
most.
you go see them?
Yeah, I go to their house.
Really?
I
Okay,
do
cool.
because I work differently. But I go
That's
into the
amazing.
garage. He has this incredible garage where all the tools are organized.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is beautifully
Mm-hmm.
clean and organized. And I thought, oh my God, oh my God, I have just walked into this student's mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has old Schwinn bicycles, classics, hanging from the ceiling of the garage, and he has rebuilt all of them, and they are shiny and perfect. And I thought, oh my, he's a doer. He's amazing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
yes.
he's a follow through, follow up kind of guy.
You couldn't stop him if you tried.
No.
I'm sure that kid will be successful, whatever he does.
Right, but the more prestigious program, he was never going to touch nothing, never. The program at ASU, he wound up with 2 job offers, one from GM.
Oh, there you go. So you start at 80,000 and your average income's 180.
Right, but he also had an offer in Germany. And GM.
Germans are stealing our guys? Is that what you're saying?
So, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So GM went to Arizona State because they said, we're going to make an electric car. This is years ago. I've been doing this a long time. We're going to make an electric car. So we're going to go to Arizona State.
EV1.
Those kids do it.
The EV1.
Yes. And they said, here, students, here's our problem. So the engineers at the company would say, here are our bugs. Here, children, go work on our bugs.
Yeah, but the children don't understand no. They don't understand we can't do it.
Exactly. So they were like, so
the engineers are told you can do this, this, and this, and you're in this box.
Exactly.
And the kids are like, what box?
Yeah, what box? I don't care. I'll just break it.
Right. Because they haven't been put in the box yet. You know, they haven't got a job and so you can't do this or this. Yeah. That's awesome. Hey, Margaret, listen, this has been an amazing interview. I can't thank you enough. Real quick, if anybody would like to get in touch with you and your company, how would they do that?
They would do www.counselmore.com, COUNSELMORE.com, counselmore.com. There is a message box right at the top of the screen. Feel free to ask us anything, and one of our amazing people will respond.
Awesome. Would you like to give out an email or no?
Just that website, counselmore.com.
You got a bunch of email. You got the email on there?
That message box right at the top, that will go straight to our inbox.
I can't thank you enough. This has been an amazing
I can't
podcast.
thank you.
One of my best.
It has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think anybody that is thinking about going to school should probably listen to this podcast and contact you. How's that?
That would be great. Please do contact me. I can answer any of your questions.
All right. Thank you very much for being on the show, and everybody else, like and subscribe for more content. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks a lot for being on the show, Margaret.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.